Hello everybody, Chris Lavanos here, www.dailyhomeincomenow.com. Just want to make this video because I did ask a question to some people if they were in a home-based business or they were evaluating one. Every company out there says they have the best products. Every company out there says they have the best compensation plan, that they're the greatest, and yada yada yada. And I'm sure you've heard of it before. But how do you know what to look for, and how do you know, when you're looking at a company's, do you know what to look for when evaluating companies to move forward with them? And I think I can help you get some better insight on that, because not a lot of people know what to look for. They hear that the products are great, they jump on board. They hear we have the best compensation plan, they jump on board. And I heard these success factors a while back, and I want to give them to you and help you really understand them, because I think it's very important, because a lot of people jump into companies and they don't even know what they're jumping into, and then they build a business and the company goes out of business, or they have to go with a new business later because of complications and different things that are happening. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody, because my wife and I, we spent 5 years, and we had 6 years spent with another network marketing company. And we had built a huge customer base with that company, a big customer base, and we were really working hard. We weren't making much money. We didn't know what to look for. A lot of people deserve to be making more than they actually were. And, we were struggling, and, we put that mask on, and we tried to have our game face on, and, it was really hard. And we actually left that company and didn't want to look at anything else. And, I don't regret that experience, but it has allowed me to know what to look for. My wife and I are with another company right now, and and it's just been amazing. So the first thing is these are the 12 success factors, and I've heard these from a very successful individual, and all of them made sense to me. So the number one is the company's got to have a track record, and here's why is. Most companies, they fail within their first 5 years. So never do a company unless it's at least 5 years old, because a lot of them get started and they go out of business. And you need to be with a company that has more than 5 years experience. The second thing is financially sound. You got to look before you leap, and will it last? And you got to find a company, if you can find a company that's debt free, but you also have to really look in and see if the company's been late paying checks, or if they've been late shipping products, and you just need to be able to pay attention to that. It has to have strong management. Most company owners are MLMers, and they own the downline or some of the downline, so you want to watch out for that. That could be horrible. Most companies know they have a short window to make their millions, and they move on. So the result is that most companies make decisions and make themselves wealthy at the expense of other people's, their customers' future. So, a lot of prior network marketers, they come into a company, or most companies that are started by MLMers, they come from a different company. They have bad habits, and they take a whole bunch of them, and they kind of just get together, design a compensation plan, and then, it's horrible. They bring bad habits. You need to find a business where the owners came from big companies, Fortune 500, or have really good business sense, business experience. So that's what I would look for. Big thing for me is no hype, because if you got to really hype something up, that means that what you have isn't good enough to be excited enough just naturally. The other thing too is you got to have unique consumable products, and every company says that they have unique consumable products. So you don't want to get involved with a company where people aren't used to buying something every single month. Some companies out there, I believe that it's got to be tailored towards the average person. If somebody's not used to ordering a juice, or if somebody's not, used to doing something, they're not going to do it. So my wife and I, we wanted unique consumable products, which is another one. And you should definitely look for a company that has unique consumable products, like, toothpaste, mouthwash, our company has consumable products that people use and get rid of every single month, and they need more of it. It makes a lot of sense. You need it. People are used to buying it. The other thing too is you got to have a company that's competitively priced And you got to really look into your heart and your soul on this one, guys, because there's a lot of companies that we could evaluate and we could look at it, and it's got to be priced at like a supermarket or below. If your company, if the quality is great and that's good, but it's costing more, people aren't going to do that long term. So you got to it's got to be smart economics, great value, and being a customer. High reorder rate. So in this, it's very important because if you're with either a product or a service, you got to have a high customer reorder rate. You're creating residual income for the long term, okay? And you got to have a company that has and when I was evaluating companies, there was a lot of companies that actually my wife and I crossed off the list, even with our experience, because they wouldn't show us business reports. They wouldn't show us their reorder rate. They wouldn't show us how many customers they're keeping every month. And people won't show that to you and they won't show that, I would watch out, because in a lot of companies, even service-based companies, they lose a lot of customers. And service-based companies, sometimes they call it the purge, or or product-based companies, it's reorder rate. So, for us, my wife and I, we chose a company that had a 95% documented reorder rate. That means that 95% of your business stays every month, rather than 60% reorder rate, which we've seen, and it's just horrible. The next thing is, low personal production requirement. So what does that mean? If somebody has to order a high amount of products or something every month, they're not going to do it long term. You got to be with a product or a company where there's no new money. There's no need for a budget change. All you're doing is simply switching stores, and everyone can be a customer. That's the whole point about it. And it's got to make more sense to be a customer than even doing the business. So as an example, what I mean by that is, if there was no money attached to it, would you truly be a customer? And in our last company, my wife and I looked at each other and we said, if we weren't making money here, would we even stay with the company? And the answer was no. You got to have also, the next point is, you got to have a low entry fee. A lot of companies charge $100, $150, or $300 or $400, to even just get started in a company. And most people can't do that. You got to think about the average person, and the average person can't do that. So our company, my wife and I, we decided to go with a company that actually has a $29 membership fee. And you got to be also with a company where the enroller is not paid on the fee. There's a lot of companies like that, and you want to stay away from that. So the fee that is paid to join, people make money on that. With my company, it's not. And you got to come in the right way. You got to also be with a company where you don't have to buy tons of inventory. You got to get away from that, because, if you have to buy a ton of inventory, trust me, they're going to try to sell you a bunch of products. And if you have to buy a whole bunch of inventory, that's not what average people can do. You got to think about what average people can do. Buying a whole bunch of inventory to go out and sell it, you don't need to do that. And there's a lot of companies that are out that like that. And my wife and I, we're in a consumable-based, company, okay, with consumable products, and we don't buy an inventory. We just buy the products that we need, and then we introduce it to others. They open up their membership, and then they order the products that they need. That's a great thing. And then here's the other thing is low attrition. In most companies, if the customer did not order, they quit. You gotta be with a company where there's not a sign-up game, okay? So in most companies, if the customer didn't order, they quit. You don't want to be in a company like that. You don't want to be in a company with low attrition. So, 60% of businesses are brand loyal customers, stable residual income, repeat purchases. That's where you need to be. Customers stay if there's good enough value. There's got to be value. If you're in a company where a lot of people, in other words, if you're in a company where a lot of people quit, and as soon as they're done even doing the business, they drop out of services or product or whatever, you got to watch out. That's bad. The other thing is timing. Less than 10% of North America has even heard of companies, including mine. No bad news, no one gets hurt. I was talking to somebody, and I said, yeah, you know what? Up until I got involved in the network marketing industry, I never really heard of the company that I'm in now. And, somebody said, Chris, it's because no one gets hurt. Bad news travels fast. No bad news, no one gets hurt. You want to be with a company like that. Not in a hurry, not looking for shortcuts. You got to build business brick by brick. And here's the other thing too, is no breakaways. You don't want to be in a company where you're ever penalized for bringing in someone better than you, and that's a lot of companies. You got to look for that, and that happens. Breakaway compensation plans, binaries, things like that, where you're paid on the littlest leg, rather than the whole thing. It's a fear of loss. It's not really a sense of gain. You want to be in a company where your organization can never be taken from you, and most companies do binaries plans, which really go against the business principles. You're forced to reward the non-producer in order to get paid. You get paid on the little end. So if I introduce my brother and my sister on one side, and my brother's blown up and my sister isn't really doing anything, if I get paid on the little end, which is barely nothing. Some people in binaries, they say I got 50,000 in billing, 60,000 in billing, but it's really they're getting paid on the short end of the stick. Which if they have 1,000 in billing or 3,000 in billing in the small leg, I mean that's the way that it is. And you got to be with a company where there's no risk. You got to be with a company where you're getting started is fully refundable even after 10, 15, 30 days. A lot of companies will use the 10-day or the 3-day thing. You got to be with a company that no one can get hurt. You got to be with a company where it's safe and something that the 80%ers can do. And what I mean by that, and my wife and I, our last company that we were with, 80% of people could not do it. 80% of people could not get a customer. 80% of people couldn't even join it. 80% could not make money. You want to be with a company where when somebody first gets a customer, their first customer, they get paid. You've got to be with a company that doesn't take away from compensation plan. And you got to ask yourself, of the 12 points that I just listed, which one would you be willing to take off the page and still throw your time, energy, and reputation into it? Are you looking for your next company, or are you looking for your last one? All roads lead to Melaleuca, and that's the company that my wife and I decided to go with. You can build very reliable residual income, and remember the 80-20 rule, because if you're in a company and you're doing a company that the 80s can't do, you might find somebody who might, produce, and you're going to find a lot of people that quit. And, it's about average people making money. When you talked about leverage, when you talked about it's about average people making money. And if average people can't make money, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to have momentum. You're not going to be able to build. My wife and I got started. Our first check was $5,655. It matched the highest month we ever had in our other business. We made $19,000 in 4 months, and we can show anybody who wants to see this. Again, www.dailyhomeincomenow.com, dailyhomeincomenow.com, and you can meet my wife and I. We'll show you the checks. We'll show you the business reports. That's one thing, guys, is that most people that you're sitting with, they won't show you a business report and they won't show you checks, because if they did, you wouldn't bother listening to them. Okay, and there's a better way, and I hope that these points made sense to you, all right? Well, have a great night, and have a great day, and thank you for spending some time with me. Bye.